You get socialist economies, and they're disasters. And, they're all propped up with terribly high taxes and really high taxes. You put them all together, you're paying 70% in Europe. It varies from country to country, but not by much. And, of course, you have this cradle-to-grave thing, which is socialism going to take care of you. Well, that's all well and good, but the only one that's got a decent pension system is England. And it's solvent. All the rest of them are broke. Or they certainly can't continue to service the retirees the way that they're supposed to. So, with that said, the pound and the euro have problems. Not as bad as the American problems, but they got them. And so does in every other country. Nobody's going to get out of this hole. Everybody's going to be a loser. It's a question of degree. Again, how do you protect yourself? There's only one way. It's gold and silver-related assets. Nothing else.
What's the peak year for the baby boomers here?
Well, that's a question I've never been asked before. Baby boomers started, in 1942?
Well, the baby boomer retirees was, 08 when they really started? The first part of 08, or was it 07?
Well, that would be 08. They would be 48, 52. They'd be 60 years old. It'd have to be a little bit later than that. They would have to be 3 years later. But anyway, they're in process. And this is going on all over the world, incidentally. This isn't just America. I mean, every country's got baby booms, that came from that time frame. And so they all have, between now and 2050, absolutely tremendous amounts of money that they got to pay out to people. They don't have it. I mean, everybody's going to take a haircut. Every currency is going to be devalued versus gold. Many currencies are going to be devalued and revalued against one another.
Well, here's a question in. This is also in from Ivan, does not the swine flu national emergency pandemic effectively nullify the Bill of Rights, in essence deprive the citizens to right of due process and allow the government search and seizure?
Well, the answer is yes. And if you can write until you're blue in the face, and our Congress doesn't care, and neither does our president. As far as they're concerned, they are the law. They make the law. There is no Constitution. Our courts are all purchased, especially at the federal level. There is no justice left in America. And if they stop 1207 and 604 from being passed in Congress, and we don't get rid of half the incumbents a year from November, you can kiss it goodbye. You're either going to fight or you're going to live in an internment camp.
And he has a follow-up to his question. Presently, the caregivers and first responders are targeted for the flu shots. Is this in order to immobilize them when the Illuminati or the Illuminati strikes with a deadlier flu strain?
Could be. Could be. Possible. Probable, I don't know. I mean, who knows what these lunatics are going to do? I mean, these are the evilest people that the world has ever known. I mean, there are some other outstanding examples, Attila the Hun and Genghis Khan and so on and so forth. Even the Roman legions. All they did was murder people. There was nothing theatrical or good about what they did. In fact, they would have taken all of Europe if it hadn't been for one German prince, Arminian. He kicked them, and he was eventually murdered, but he kicked them out of Germany. They get as far north as Kassel, which is in northern Germany.
What's interesting is well, my family, they all get the flu shots, and they went to get their flu shot, and I asked them, well, I said, did you get the swine flu? And he says, no. They told us we didn't have to get them, but they actually had to sign a paper,
saying that they didn't want it.
Yeah. They says, no, they told them they didn't have to have them because of their age.
Well, that means I'll never get it.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. But here's a question that comes in that's about an AP article reference about Obama's scheduled powwow to discuss the Afghan war, and is being preempted by the helicopter crash killing the 3 drug agents. And this is it from John. He says, can we surmise that this crash was a hit on the drug agents? Can we also surmise that Obama is in the dark about the role Afghanistan as a drug producer for the funding of black budgets? I think you got to be kidding me. Also.
Of course he knows. Everybody in Washington knows. It's pretty simple. Nothing esoteric about it.
And his other question, can you discuss the news on Citibank and its plan to raise all the cardholder rates up to 30%? Are they doing this across the board to every cardholder? And what should cardholders trapped with large balances do?
First of all, it's evidently not across the board. People who are losing their cards are people, for the most part, who have never been late, have good FOICs, like over 700, and they're not making enough money on them, so they want to get rid of them. It's as simple as that. And so if you've got good credit, they're not interested. They want the bunglers who might be able to pay the bill. The thinking on that is, as far as I'm concerned, warped. And it should be the other way around. And what they should do to people who don't, run up balances is ask them to, so they can continue to serve them. And I think most people would say, okay, that's all right. I'll run a balance of, maybe $500 or $1,000 a month to keep these people happy. But that's not what they're doing. And I think if I don't have a credit card, and I can get them, of course, if I want. But what I would do, if most people have multiple cards, I would keep 2 that didn't do what Citigroup or Chase is doing, and just tell them, fine, keep your card, and just whittle it down to 1 or 2, and maybe even 1, and leave it at that. And I would, and I've said this over and over again, I would go and do everything for cash.
Yes?
I would do everything for cash.
All right.
I mean, I've used cash for years. I don't do anything but cash. I don't keep any balances in banks, never have. And if I have to keep cash around the house, that's fine. Somebody wants to come and get it, I'll blow them right back out the door. That's my attitude. My wife and I are both crack shots, combat shots, that is, not these rinky-dink stuff they do out at ranges. And so if somebody wants to die, they can come to my house.
You explained it a little bit. This is the second question. Can you explain the gold, silver, future options market expiration timetables? Do they expire at the end of the month or the third Friday of the month? Perhaps you could use the current trading month as an example.
Well, every month is different. This month the expiration is tomorrow, mercifully. And that should be the bottom on the gold and silver prices. So you want to buy today and tomorrow, and that should be it. We'll have a sideways movement Thursday. We'll probably have an up day on Friday. And next week it'll take off again. The Chinese are waiting in the wings. They're going to go in and gobble up all that cheap gold. And you've got short positions on the commercials, which are the banks, that are unbelievable. especially in gold. I think it's around 281,000. I haven't seen last week's figures, unfortunately, but I'll probably pick them up somewhere today. And my guess is it's probably around 295,000. And what's normal? 95 to 100,000. And so that's over 100% of normal. And I mean, they are short to beat the band. This is the United States government they're handling the orders for, because they're trying to drive the price down. And they're having very little success, because people keep on coming in from the Middle East and India and China, and they're just buying the heck out of physical gold. Another phenomenon that's happening is in India, people aren't buying as much jewelry anymore. They're buying gold and silver coins. Very interesting.